I've just been looking at my mobile phone, and I, I'm always worried when I'm handling my mobile phone. I try now as much as possible to handle it less and less, because not only has it got the electrical magnetic frequencies coming off at me, but it's obviously listening to everything that I say and transmitting pictures and all of this. And this is an old one, reasonably old, not as old as perhaps I ought to have, and maybe will eventually get round to doing. But it seems, I mean, I know you can get a de-Googled mobile phone, so that it takes out a lot of the tracking stuff, and it can disarm the listening capabilities and things. And we've become so reliant on these mobile phones, with all the Telegram groups and the WhatsApp groups and the instant messages, the taking of photographs and the making of videos and all of that. It's been so convenient to have just one device in your pocket that does all these things. But it also seems that that is the same device that we are being controlled by. And worryingly, it seems that the SIM card is now something that can be attached to the new digital ID. I noticed this was sent to me by one of my lovely viewers from reclaimthenet.org, a slightly worrying article here. More countries are planning to link SIM cards to digital IDs. And there's a picture, obviously, of a SIM card that you would shove in your phone. And I'll just read a little bit of it to give you this sense of where it is, but I'll leave the link in the description, of course. So Italy, Namibia, Mauritania are among the countries implementing SIM card activation via digital ID. And Italy has now reached the phase where its telecommunications regulator, AGCOM, if that's how it's pronounced, has greenlit the practice. So, you know that soon it'll be coming over here. A statement from AGCOM said that the mobile operators are still free to activate SIMs with either their electronic ID, which is something called a CIE, the National Services Charter ID, known as the CNS, or the SPID, the Public Digital ID System. Now, I dare say that there is some sort of, linking to your phone to you. I mean, obviously your number is something that's going to link that to you. But it does seem a nefarious backdoor way to introduce the need for a digital ID, so that if you upgrade your phone, and we're always taught to do that, aren't we, because they're more sexy and they have more facilities, so-called, then you may, in order to get that, or you lose your phone, or you want a second phone, or you want a better contract and you need a new SIM card, whatever it is, if you have to have a new SIM card, or they decide to switch off your SIM card, and in order to reactivate it again, you need to then give them your digital ID, then of course you'll have to sign up to get a digital ID. And this is just another way that we can see that when the digital ID comes on stream, that people will find themselves being backed into a corner and having to have a digital ID, which is something which I personally do not want. I don't want the government, for example, a corporate for-profit business, just like any other high street business, having access to all my private details, such as my health, such as my tax, such as anything to do with me or the legal fiction that I am at the moment forced to use. And one obviously would like to get out of that legal fiction corporate system of dead entities as much as we can, and live in the private, where we can live harmoniously and honourably with one another without having to deal in this rather murky commerce and dead fiat currency, debt-based currency, where of course we are controlled left, right and centre, and being ever pushed towards that one state, one world government that I don't think anybody actually really wants. I mean, I'd love to meet somebody who has ever voted to having a one world government. I mean, I'm not talking about the likes of Bill Gates and Klaus Schwab and people like that. I mean, obviously they want it, these billionaires who want to control us and make us eat bugs and not have the facility to go flying in aeroplanes, who want to get rid of cars and want to corral us into these 15-minute ghettos in which we won't be able to leave and keep us behind screens and all of that. But I've never actually managed to find anybody who would like us to, who actually really wants this one world government. Not when you live in a local environment and the people in that environment, in the locality, know what's best for them. They know what the microclimate is, not the one world climate where they're using things like the HARP machine, wherever that's based, and the geoengineering to control the weather and the great dimming of the sky. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the local environment, the local geology, where you want to grow food locally so that you can enjoy, say, local honey from local bees, so that if you happen to have certain allergies, it gets rid of that. All the advantages of the local economy, where you can have your, let's say, not fiat-based currency, but something that has intrinsic value in and of itself, a money system that you can keep within the environment that supports everybody, rather than the dark forces and the big bank cartels who are sucking the lifeblood out of you. So I can't understand why anybody would want any of that, and I've never met anybody who's voted for it. And if people don't actually exist who voted for this or elected this kind of service, then why are we getting it? Why is it that a think tank who are unelected and unaccountable have the power and influence to tell you and I what we should and shouldn't have? If no man is born above any other, then no man, unless you've agreed to it, in which point you'd have a contract to say, yes, okay, I agree to you being above me and telling me what to do, then if that's not the case, then nobody should be able to tell you all these things. So I repel and rebut these digital ID nonsense, because I don't want it. Here's my identification here. This human body, this living man of flesh and blood. This is how I identify this. I don't need a bit of paper or a piece of digital stuff to say that's me, because that isn't me. That's just a piece of paper or a digital number. It's not me at all. This is me here. And if you don't believe it, then just try poking it and see what happens. So be wary when you get your new SIM card. It may be that this is coming down the line. So let's just take that off our thought controls and say, no, we don't want any of that rubbish. It's all a load of old nonsense, and we will not acquiesce. So it's going back to that same old thing, that when tyranny comes calling, we just simply say no.